In this episode, we discuss Duke Tobin. Is he all hat, no cattle? Bengals free agency moves, a look around the AFC North. NFL draft season is here, folks. We're going to talk about that and more on the All In, My Ass edition of the Brotherhood of the Bengal.
Brotherhood of the Bengal. Brotherhood of the Bengal. In the river fog we gather, striped and bound by autumn air. Hands on hearts we share the stories of the claws and of the lair.
What's up, Steve Boy, on this frigid Saturday morning?
Good morning, my friend. Yeah, a little chilly, but we're braving the elements. We did that a few times last year, and we're probably going to do it some this year when it's 175 degrees out here.
I love it when it's hot. Can't wait for 95 and humid, my kind of weather. Yeah, it's a little chilly. It's not bad. It's warming up a little bit. Crazy winds yesterday, a little damage, pain in the ass stuff here and there. But we are wearing our new Brotherhood of the Bengals crew sweatshirt. Stevie Boy is showing it to you on camera. I know we could have done a better Vanna White there, but we'll do it. If you're interested, comment in here on, you know where to find us if you know us. Track us down. We'll get some pricing together. We're not trying to make money on it, break even, whatever. If you want to donate more, it's up to you. We don't care. But we'd spread the word about it. So we're looking. We got these. We got long sleeve T-shirts. We also have short sleeve T-shirts. Stevie Boy, I like them.
Which we will be using here for.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either, brother.
Tomorrow's one of those days, which will be nice.
Yes,
but it's short lived. It's spring. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be windy in Ohio. Hate it, but Friday, first day of spring.
Yes.
Wear your green on Tuesday. You don't want to get pinched at work.
I won't have to worry about that. Ain't nobody wants to touch me.
That's true. Will you won't get pinched by the wife or anything, huh? If you don't wear green?
No.
Really?
Mm.
There's always a danger. St. Patty's Day. You going to throw a few cold green drinks back?
Probably not. I'll probably wait till Saturday.
Well, March Madness starts Tuesday playing games, but Thursday next week. So that'll be kind of interesting. You know, I can't hardly watch a game without sitting there going travel. It's unbelievable. I posted a YouTube video, not to get sidetracked. A guy, it's a Ohio State guy. I'm glad he made the shot, right? But he took legitimately 4 steps and maybe 5. People want to argue it. Like, they just grew up. I told him, well, he's gathering. You can't gather with your feet on the ground and take 14 steps and then decide to, you know what I'm saying? It's unbelievable. It's a horrible sport. But anyway, all right, free agency. It's done. Or is it? It's not done. It could be done. I shouldn't say it's not done. It might not be done. Here we are. Bengals signed safety Brian Cook from the Kansas City Chiefs. Boy A. Mafe, edge rusher from the Seattle Seahawks. And Jonathan Allen, defensive tackle, who started Washington, played in Minnesota. He's the only one got a little age on him, a little tread on the tires. What are your thoughts about these guys, Sadie, Steve? And I'll tell you. So used to saying Sadie to my daughter. I'm so used to yelling at her and whatnot.
Yeah,
I'm used to yelling at you too, though. But what are your thoughts on these three? And we'll talk about extensions and stuff like that shortly. I'm happy with it, and I'll give my thoughts on each of them. But you first, my friend.
Yeah, I'm pleased with all three. All three makes them better, mainly because, and I mean better from last year. Trey was out most of the year, so they definitely got, I think, a little bit more juice. Mafe is the only one that is probably maybe a wash or a little less because, or I'm sorry, a little more because, I mean, Osai was a hustler, but what Mafe does penetrating, and he's also got that motor, so I think that's where it puts it above Osai. Then of course, and the number that Osai got paid and Mafe got paid pretty much tells you that that's the case. Cook, just a great signing, just an absolute great signing. Brought him home, Cincinnati boy. He's glad to be home. Probably took a touch less than probably what he could have got if he really stayed out there. But both those guys I love. Allen I like. the money is the issue there. Maybe his market was just really out there and they were desperate. They needed a D tackle. They went and got him. I do give them credit for going out, but with how they've structured Mafe and how they structured him, not with. I don't think the details are out on Allen 100%. But we do know Mafe, and I do know that they got that extra $7 million for the insurance on Joe because he only played X amount of games last year, or Joe was a part of that. So yeah, I mean, they could have signed another 2 or 3 more guys. The linebackers were out there, and that just didn't happen. So we got to live with what we got right now.
Don't get ahead of the show here, man. You always do that. Lay it out and you start jumping ahead. Yeah, so three new players. I think they're definitely a better defense than they were last year. Cook, good play speed, versatile safety, can tackle, great motor, certainly a clear upgrade over Geno. He's a little bit limited in his coverage skills. He's more of a in the box, which that's my problem with it, not with signing him, is I think they see Jordan Battle as that high, deep safety. I don't see him as that, right? I see him as exactly what I just described with not as good, but it's Cook, right? So that part of me it's just I'm puzzled by that still, right? Because the way they see Jordan Battle and the way I see him from Alabama and on is 2 different descriptions, right? And I don't understand it. The season's not over yet. Who knows? They may, the offseason's not over yet. If they draft Caleb or somebody like, Thieneman, they surprise everybody and draft him, then it doesn't matter. Then you're using one of them in a different role. I don't think that's their plan. We will see, but yeah, he's a really good athlete though. I posted some shorts there of him. He's a really good player. Like the signing in Mafe, burst, speed to power, developing player. He'll set the edge, high motor, as you said. Here's the negatives: reduced snap counts. A part of that's called Seattle's so deep, but his snap counts as the year went on, dramatic decline. That's an issue. Were there people pursuing him? I'm sure there were. His overall production. So the same people that are glowing over the Mafe signing, less than a year ago, hated the Shamar Stewart selection because he didn't have their production. Scratch his head. What? Mafe's production's not very good last year, man. Not very good at all.
His pressures were up there.
But so is Shamar's in college, right? So it's kind of one and the same. His problem, I think he relies on power too much, and his bend's not there, which is also what they said about Shamar, right? So don't get me wrong. I like the signing. I just don't think it's, an elite all-in signing, which we're going to talk about shortly. Allen, seasoned vet, 3 technique. He's very similar to BJ Hill too, though. That's the thing. Like, the thing they're missing is that big tackle, stopping the run, getting in there. You know what I'm saying? They're still missing that guy, right? Allen's more versatile than BJ. I like the signing. Don't get me wrong. He still chases the ball. I posted him getting Lamar, right? I think that's last year. He's still chasing screens, still, high motor guy. And you don't pay this much for just this. I think he's still a good player. And they need somebody in there who knows what the hell they're doing. Another vet, right? Mm-hmm. It's all on BJ. So this helps that part of it too. But, somebody's not going to make the team here at some point, right? You can't, we talked about last year. We need to draft a D tackle. They got 58 draft. It's like they're tight end. Well, coming into the season, we got 18 tight ends. We're in good shape, right? At some point here, you got to think about what we trying to do here. So I think somebody's going to not make the team out of this group of D tackles. And that's not a bad thing. So overall, if they were a pretty good defense and they signed these 3, I'm doing cartwheels, right? But they're such a bad defense last year. I'm glad they did it. And it's kind of surprising that they even did this. But, Stevie boy, hold on, we're going to talk about that in a second. We're going to hold on that one. Orlando Brown, of all the people on the team that you could sign an extension, Orlando Brown? I don't get it. Your thoughts? I don't get it.
I get the re-signing. What I don't get is why they did it now. You know what I mean? Like, the reports are that Orlando went to them and he did it himself. So I guess
maybe agent's what he said.
Yeah. So maybe that was some of that. He went up there and said, it's basically the same money. I'll just do this. And and they got the deal done.
I don't know what the guarantees are, so that changes things. Could change things, right?
Right. But I mean, yeah, I mean, look, he's the 17th. I'm pretty sure he's like the 17th or 18th highest paid left tackle in the league. So that's middle of the pack, right? Well, he's probably middle of the pack left tackle. So he's getting paid like so I mean, left tackles are hard to come by. And I guarantee you that second year is not guaranteed. And there's probably very little money in that second year is guaranteed. If he comes out this year and he busts, then guess what? They can probably cut ties. But let's go back. We can't say that this offensive line was better last year, especially the last 8 to 11 games, and not include Orlando Brown.
He played better.
You see what I'm saying? So for what they're paying him and what that market, and you got to think too, the cap is going up. So that percentage in the next couple of years is even going to go down of what the cap is compared to what his market was. So, I mean, I like the signing. It gives them stability. It gives them options. You know what I mean? It's not like they still can't, draft a left tackle in the 3rd or 4th round, someone that hopefully not before that, but 3rd, 4th, 5th round, somebody maybe they can come in, do like a Fairchild, somebody that comes in and becomes a guy, and they're like, oh, okay, maybe we didn't expect this quick, right? Well, now you have Orlando Brown as a guy that can play both sides. I don't think they would do that, but a real coach and a real organization would definitely put that in line for next year, for sure, right? So don't mind the signing. The timing of it was odd.
It's odd because you've got more important things to do from a free agency standpoint.
Exactly.
DJ Turner and those guys are far more important. So according to overthecap.com, Orlando Brown Jr. next year's cap hit is $16 million. Like you said, that's not bad, but they don't completely get out of it. The dead money would be $9 million, and you only save $6 million.
That's next year.
That's 27.
That's 27.
Yeah. Yep. So, which is next year. So yeah. I think. So, I mean, could they? Yeah. I mean, you could bite the bullet on that and not kill you, right? Especially given how much salary cap space they'll have next year.
But I don't think they would do that next year. They would keep him as a swing if someone else dethroned him. And then in 28 would be the cut ties. Because the Bengals, I think there's 2 players. I don't even know how much. It might be 3. I don't know if T's got guarantees in year 2 of that contract or not. But I know good and well Jamar and Joe do. So, yeah. I mean.
Yeah, it's tricky. They so you look at it, I don't know, he's 30 in May, right? And that's usually their threshold. So they changed their strategy a little bit, which we like, a little bit with Allen and Brown, a little bit. We kind of like that. But contract-wise, still living in the Stone Ages, man. So now we get to it. So Duke Tobin, 2 years in a row, and I posted a short about it. So the season before, we're not going to pay and have the same team come back. What'd they do? Basically had the same team come back. So this year he bumps his gums again and says all in. He grammatically he was all over the place, but what he was trying to say in plain English was, I've always been all in. That's what he was trying to say. He butchered it. Stupid on both accounts. He doesn't act like an executive, right? And sometimes that's okay. You think about it, like we talked about. He comes across as a nice guy. Oh, shucks. So him and Zach. And that's okay, I guess. And, like I said, they would win the nice guy award, certainly over Baltimore's what they're feeling right now and all that stuff. But I don't care about that. I care about winning. And Duke's an executive, right? You can label his title whatever you want, but for all intents and purposes, he's a general manager, right, of a 32-team league that's multi-billionaire, and he gets up there, blah, 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 butchers it all, and then says he is all in. So now you've got yourself, you're putting your head on the guillotine right there, right? You're sticking your neck out there. You don't have to say that stupid stuff, man. You can just say, I appreciate you think that way, but yeah, we're trying to win a championship, and you just move on. That's what a professional – how many times have I said that about Zach? That's not how you answer the question, Zach. You do not have to answer that question. There are ways around that. There's nobody in that building that teaches these guys how to speak to people, right? You're on a stage, and it's not just going to be your local Bengal media that sees this. So the video, somebody posted it on X, right, when he said all this stuff, and guess what was blowing up this past week? It was getting hits like crazy, right? So you look like an absolute fool.
Yeah.
So I say all in, comma, the famous Skip Bayless. Other people getting credit that for it in Cincinnati. No. Skip Bayless said it. All in, comma, the most important comma ever, my ass. Because if you were all in, You would sign the defensive tackle from Denver. You would sign Devin Lloyd and maybe Quay Walker too. You would realize, hey, we can restructure. We can sign these contracts, put guarantees in year 2 and year 3, lower the cap number this year. We're $100 million under next year. The cap will go up. We're even going to be more than that. You could have added 2 safeties, Kobe Bryant and him. You could have added 1 or 2 linebackers. The defensive tackle I just mentioned instead of Jonathan Allen. You could have loaded up, had plenty of cap space for next year, and been bound for a championship. And all the odds you look at right now, the Bengals would have been top 2 or 3 if you'd done what I said, maybe higher, maybe number 1. Everybody would have said Duke Tobin was all in. The Bengals are going for a championship. Words we'll never hear. Sad but true.
Sad but true. So I've got a lot on this. So Duke, first, you're right on almost 99.9% of what you said. Duke, he needs to do a better job of watching what he says, because those remarks will never leave, right? I mean, those remarks are out there,
in the
and
ether.
I just absolutely love this cigar smoke. I just wish it would blow my face so much more than what it all.
We'll make it happen.
Won't you just set it over here, and that way it directly?
You want me to?
Well, I mean, you could.
That'd be great.
But getting back to Duke, he needs to do a better job of watching what he says. Now, with that being said, he also said he's always in. He didn't say we are always in. So he does not do these contracts. All he says is, here's the guy I'd like to have. And I think a big problem, dude, I'm telling you right now, a big problem is Katie. I don't.
It could be.
Yeah.
I still think he's the one establishing the market value. Like all GMs do this. They say, this is what this is worth. This is how we want the contract.
I mean, you could be right, you could be wrong. We have no idea.
I know, but it's easy to blame. We've been down this road, right? Not you and I, other people. Somebody come out, oh, you think they're doing it? I said, if you think Mike Brown and them are out there scouting players and telling them who to pick, you're foolish, right?
Nope.
That's not happening.
They're not. They're not. But
and
they're also
Duke's got the title. So you look at it. So if I go to a different sales organization, they look at my number. Well, my boss wouldn't let me do it. That's why I never performed. You had the title of VP of Sales. I'm making that up. Yeah, you did. So you didn't do it? It's your title, dude. So if Duke doesn't have the, pardon my French, balls to stand up to anybody, he's been there 20-some years, you pay the piper.
You're not wrong, but that means whoever else in there ain't gonna have the balls either. Because if not, they'll just let him go. I mean, because if they don't want to go in the direction that the Katie and Mike and these office gurus want to go, and that's probably being generous saying office gurus. Then it's shame on them. It's shame on the whole organization. I just Duke is a lot of the problem. Don't get me wrong. Zach's a good bit of the problem. But I think the majority of the issues with these contracts and how they're structured, especially how they're structured, is Katie. Katie, and I'm not sure how much Mike has to do in the contract structure.
It can't be much.
I wouldn't think much. I would think that he relies on.
I'm not being
Katie to
mean
do
here.
much of that.
I don't mean this in a mean way. I really don't, because I'm sympathetic to people that get older and all that kind of stuff. It's actually hard to watch when you know somebody. I'm not saying this the way it could come out. What I am saying is, we've seen him walk around the practice field and stuff. There's no fucking way, pardon my French, he's involved in any of that.
Yeah.
He's 90 years old, right? Like,
I agree.
He may be sitting in the back. He's probably taking a nap.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be too when I'm his age. I'm not knocking. There's just no way seeing him. And I just can't imagine that's true, right? And the people say all that stuff and blame him. Now, did he create? Now, to be fair though,
did he create?
Did he create the culture there and all that stuff all the way through? Did they learn under him? I have no argument on that.
I mean,
right?
that's his baby girl, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
probably. They're all at fault. They need to do better. They did, come out of their shell a little bit, but I think they knew with such a young defense, they needed some new leaders in there, and they went out and got the ones. I mean, you're talking about men of the year, captains. They
big games.
Yeah, I mean they and big games, rings, right?
Oh.
They're I won't even say they did a good job. They just did, I guess, a good enough job. But like you said, does it raise their floor that much compared to in relation to how bad they were, right?
Yeah. I mean, quite frankly, though, I think I was surprised they did that much, which that says something,
That
right?
does say
That's not
something.
good.
Yeah,
It's not a positive. It's yeah, like it. Don't get me wrong. That's one thing I failed to mention before we started this, and I meant to. My apologies. That I'm not knocking the Cook signing. I'm not knocking the Mafe signing, and I'm not knocking Jonathan signing. Allen's right. I think all three are really good players, and three of the better players on the entire defense. I'm not knocking those guys at all. I think that's where people draw a line in the sand and they start taking it out on the player stuff. I don't feel that way. I like Mafe. I loved him when he came out. I think he's got high upside, dude. I really do.
Too.
He might be unleashed, playing more snaps and a more aggressive. If Golden really blitzes more and gets him free, I think and Allen will help up the middle too. I'm not knocking the signings. I just think they could have done a whole lot more. And if you're really trying to win a championship, they would have.
Mm-hmm.
When you could have created the cap space that they could have created, like other teams are doing. We're going to get to max and trade and all that nonsense shortly, but they could have added. Honestly, I'm not being ridiculous. It's not sensationalism. They could have legitimately added JTM and another linebacker and another safety. Sit battle to the bench.
Yep.
And now you really are talking championship. It's championship or bust if you do that.
Yep.
That's all they had to do. And it was right before them. So you overpay by $2 million. The overpays that they thought T, Chase, and all those guys were going to be cost them money. You sign JTM and those guys we just mentioned. Now, a year from now, it looks great. And it looks even better if you're standing on the stage and everybody's still wearing your championship shirts right now.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I think they had I truly believe they had a shot, if everyone's healthy, to close the door on the North by adding those guys. I really do.
Yep.
They didn't do
it. And another possibility, we talked about this a little bit. I've heard other people talk about, I think something to which I do not agree with this whatsoever, but we need to consider is the comp picks. So right now, I think they've added 3 restricted or unrestricted free agents, and they've had, I believe, 5, if not 6, sign. So, in theory, if a lot of these guys qualify as compensatory picks, they will get a 3rd or 4th round next year. I'm telling you, it's always in the back of their mind. They love these draft picks. They live and die by them. Me myself, I take out 2nd or 3rd, and especially since you're a higher 3rd, and I trade for Osa from the Cowboys. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you know what I mean? I mean, he's 27 years old.
San Francisco got him right.
Yeah. I mean, why not go for that? You know what I mean? What's a 3rd round pick for that guy? No. And you're going to have him for at least 3 to 4 years.
Yep.
I think he was on a contract for 2 more years, and you could have restructured and made first year cap smaller. I mean, you could have done all kinds of things, and they just didn't do it. Those are the things I think we're both frustrated with. But like you said, I'm pleasantly pleased, I guess, from what they've done. Because I really wasn't sure what they would do anyway.
Yeah, low bar for sure.
Unfortunate.
So, yeah, it's disappointing because I think the years are going by here, and they're going to be gone before long, right? Burrow, Chase, and T, and you had a chance to really do something special this offseason, how you organize. But like I said every year, and people have argued with me about having so many rookies on the team. It turned out I was right. I wanted to be wrong. There's something about that, I think. And also about salary cap space. You can beat your chest about having cap space, but if you never use it the way you should, it doesn't matter. Championship teams typically are bouncing back trying to figure out how to clear space because they just won championships. You know what I'm saying? That's typically how this works. Teams aren't generally coming in unless they're losing a lot of guys, but come that championship moment, they're typically right at the cap, right? And that's where you should be. And they're not. They still got plenty of cap space, like you mentioned earlier, but another guy like, this guy's not a world beater by any means, but Calvin Austin signed for $5 million, right? Is he a better slot guy than they have right now? Yes. It's those little things like that. You could got him under the radar. Nobody even knows about it. So they didn't even hit the under radar guys yet. And there's still some guys out there, but it's pretty slim pickings now. But Austin's not a star, but what would he be singled up with Chase and T on the outside? That would have helped, right?
Mm.
They don't have that. Yossi underperformed for sure. So, any more thoughts on that before we look at the North, my friend?
No, that's enough on that, brother.
As Clark Griswold said, where's the Tylenol? All right, moving on to Baltimore Ravens. More reason to hate them. They backed out. They can say what they want. They didn't pass him on the physical because they knew Trey was available. They can lie. They can cheat. They can do whatever they want. The Ratbirds are the Ratbirds for a reason. Your city sucks. You suck. I'm going to have to go there for too long. I take that back. Part of that back. But you dirty, filthy, purple bastards, that's what you do, and I hope you pay a price for it down the road. Filthy business, and I think anybody that's got a spine, which is not too many in the media, are coming out and saying this is bullshit. They knew what they were doing. So they backed out of the Max Crosby trade, which would have cost them 2 first-round picks, and then they signed. This is the last time I mentioned this trader's name is today. You filthy scumbag, Trey Hendrickson. Let me guess, Trey. I just got to feed my family, and I need security because, the $30 million I made wasn't enough for my family to eat. We couldn't even go to McDonald's, Steve. We only had $30 million. Trey's a fraud, dude. I said it before. I said it. I'm not backtracking. Last summer, what did I say? I'd kicked his ass out of camp. I wouldn't let him sit around parade and do interviews. That's where the Bengals don't have any spine. He wouldn't been doing interviews at my camp talking about my team. I'd have kicked his ass out of there. Didn't I say it?
Yeah, you said
he'd be gone. And look, he's gone anyway. Your thoughts on Trey? Will he help?
He's making less than what he did last year.
Scumbag.
You know what I mean? He had the opportunity to take. I think they offered him $30 million per 2 years ago, and he didn't take it. So I mean, Baltimore, their dogs are rats. They're the lowest scum of the earth is what they are. And it was 100%. It had nothing to do with it. They knew the medicals. They knew what was out there. There's other doctors that I've listened to and watched that has said he is right on track. And I mean, it was June or July anyway. That's what the report's been, June or July. So, I mean, give me a break. I mean, it's
typical.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm sick of talking about this. Will be the last time that I say that scumbag's name, especially to go there. I mean, give me a break. I mean, that just tells you what he's about. And he says it's his family. For sure, money's about your family, but it ain't all about that. I mean, it's got to be.
You need 5 yachts instead of 6 yachts? Come
right.
on,
I mean, give me a break. I mean, just so you ain't got to work the rest of your life and your kids ain't got to work the rest of your life. I mean,
you've already made enough where your great grandkids wouldn't have to work.
Exactly.
You make $30 million and you can't handle that, you're a moron.
Yeah. So go to Walmart more.
Yeah.
See what you think about. Sorry, Walmart.
Yeah, sorry, Walmart. So Baltimore, that's really the only thing they've done. They lost a lot, right? For sure. So I don't know that they're a better team. Namde back at defensive end. If he's back to full strength, which he may not be, that's a rough injury, right? If he's back, that defense is going to be good. It's not Trey's not the key. It's him, right? Matabuke, he's the key, and they missed him big time. So they got some stars on the defensive side of the ball, but offensively, losing Linderbaum's a big deal, man.
They've lost some players,
but they got their 14th pick back now, so they'll have a chance to address that. Complete bullshit, but they didn't do anything technically illegal, right, from an NFL rules standpoint. As Florio, I don't know if it's Florio or Sims or other people said. No, it's Prisco, Pete Prisco, who I like. Pete Prisco said it, and they brought it up to him. Pete's going to tell you what he feels. You may not agree with him. He's not going to bow down and kiss the NFL's ring like the rest of them do, right? And he said this whole tampering thing is just complete bullshit. And it is. He didn't say it in those words. He basically did. Why do you even do it? Just have them sign or not sign, right? You start, hey, free agency starts here. If we catch anybody talking before then, we penalize them, right? It's just dumb. And that, if you eliminate that, none of this happens. Or if Baltimore had morality, it wouldn't happen. But I don't see that changing, my friend. In Cleveland, they added Zion Johnson.
Do we have to talk about them?
I don't see much changes there. They traded for Howard, signed a couple free agent. Zion Johnson, he's all right. Offensive line, some major issues there still, I think. And on defense, Quincy Williams, he's a solid linebacker. I don't see anything there. So I think, kind of same old, same old. And I can't, they're saying Deshaun Watson's still in the heat there for quarterback. I can't see him drafting a quarterback early, so it's probably going to be what they have. Still very weak at receiver, right? Incredibly weak at receiver. And Njoku's walking. I don't think he's signed anywhere yet, has he? I don't think so.
No, he hasn't.
He's 30. He's not a bad player. Pittsburgh Steelers. Boo. I tell you, I don't understand what they're doing. And so it's a complete overhaul in philosophy there. And do you give them credit for that? I think maybe you do, because they've always been a defensive team franchise, right? Throughout history, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. That's what they've always been. That's who their identity's always been. Now you add Mike McCarthy, right? So the whole Rodgers dilemma's up. They traded for Michael Pittman, who to me is very similar to DK Metcalf, just big bodied. I don't understand that trade. The trade was cheap, but the contract's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then defensively, Jamel Dean's he's fine, I guess, but they didn't do a whole lot there. They're getting long in the tooth on defense. If Rodgers doesn't play, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I would have signed Kyler Murray, dude. He may not have went there. He probably wouldn't have. I wouldn't if I was him. You got Will Howard and Mason Rudolph. I mean, Pittsburgh and Cleveland's not far apart, in my opinion. I just don't see anything there. You?
I don't see much. I mean, they're changing philosophy is one thing, but how you go about it is another, right? And how they went about it, I'm with you. I really don't understand.
I thought they were paid for DK, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see how with this. Of course, Roger will be all about Roger. That's but I really, other than Baltimore, I mean, they might take a step back this year, honestly.
Who's that?
Pittsburgh.
Oh, I think so.
You know what I mean?
They weren't that good last year.
No.
They just fortunate the division was really bad and they eked in, got their ass handed to them.
Yeah.
Right?
Because if the division's better, you know what I mean, then you're playing them twice. And you never know how them rival games go anyway. You know what I mean? Cleveland pulls out one, Baltimore sweeps them, we split or we sweep them. Before you know it, I don't know. It's one thing to have Mike Tomlin, who was always a over 500 or at 500 coach. McCarthy is a great coach, but we don't know what his legacy is going to be like at Pittsburgh if he even stays there long enough to even have a legacy.
What I think is going to happen, I think they do take a couple steps back, 6-7 games, whatever it is, and then they put all the blame on McCarthy, and it's really not his issue. It's the GM. If you talk to Pittsburgh people, that GM's been under heat for a while, right? Because the way they do things there, those two receivers, I just don't understand what they're trying to do. TJ Watt's getting a little long in the tooth. Yeah, Cam Hayward's more than long in the tooth, right? I think they're aging where it matters, where they built their team. And I don't think, like you said, they're not going about it correctly on offense. I mean, you can't create quarterbacks out of thin air. We all know that, right? And, even if Rodgers comes back, is he going to play that well? Probably not. So
it's probably hurt him that they've been a 500 team.
Oh, it's killed them.
You know what I mean? That
mediocre is the worst place to be. You're better either be really good or stink, right?
Because there's been plenty of quarterbacks that if they would have sucked, they could have got them and rebuilt that whole organization. But instead, they keep going after these has-beens, and you know what? Couldn't happen to a better team.
That's right. Hopefully, they bottom out. I like McCarthy, but I don't now. I don't like you now, Mike. All right, so we look at what the Bengals have done. We'll transition to the NFL draft. The NFL draft is coming soon. It'll be warmer, hopefully not raining, but it probably will be raining. Rained us last year. Hopefully get that fixed by then. But what do you think? I don't think this changes the Bengals strategy. Well, I don't think it should change the Bengals strategy. Their free agent moves in the draft. What say you?
No, I don't think it changes their moves at all, but it could change some people ahead of them to what they do, which maybe, and let's hope that a player or two will slide. That's really all we can hope for, because to be honest, we have no idea what this is going to entail, right? And his top 10 is probably the most who the hell knows top 10 that I can remember, especially in the past. So we'll see what happens. I don't think it affects the Bengals now.
Shouldn't. I wouldn't think that a Mafe signing or a Cook signing would impact you. I know Allen doesn't, but I can't imagine. It might be, to our saving grace, it might be, hey, we just signed Allen. We're not going to do a D tackle at 10, because they probably are dumb enough to do that. But what's your thoughts? Biggest weakness, then I'll give mine for the team coming into the 2026 NFL draft.
After where we've been right now, right?
Right at this very moment, Stevie boy.
I still think it's linebacker. They didn't do anything. They're basically saying, and we don't know. There could be a trade in the works. Doubt it, because they don't do that kind of stuff very often. They did do it with Hill. There is a few linebackers out there. The guy from the Jennings, and then another guy from New England got cut. I think that was a numbers game, maybe. We'll see what happens, but I think linebackers. I won't say by far because I still think they got some things they need to do on the defensive line, especially on the interior. But they got Shamar's got to play some. He's got to get some snaps, right? He didn't get them last year. So they got to see what this guy's got. So he has to get some snaps. 400 to 600 snaps. You know what I mean? Do some rotation, keep guys fresh. Murphy came in a little bit. Let's see if he can take another step. I think linebacker, man. I mean,
if Styles is there, that solves a whole lot of problems.
Then you're starting another rookie. Do I really say that would be like those two? Probably not.
He's going to be good right out of the gate.
Yeah,
he's going to be a high-level player right out of the gate. So,
still rookie, though.
Rookies play really well, dude. Certain positions, right? Quarterback, they don't. Sometimes tackle, they don't. But they're really good, they do, right? And picked at 10th, they better. I mean, that's Caleb Downs is going to be good right out of the gate.
Yeah,
I'll guarantee it. David Bailey and Arvell Reese will be good in roles right out of the gate. Runstein, maybe not, but pass rush, right? They will be. They will be, Stevie boy, and mark it down, write it down, and circle it. I think, I want him to address that linebacker position, but I'm not putting too much hope in this. But it's reality. You had two rookie linebackers starting with a very bad defensive line and a new system that everybody struggled to digest. And in his own words, I don't know if he's covering for him or it's reality. I think it's reality. He threw too much at everybody early on because his scheme's pretty complicated. So they're running around and they're not reactive. They're thinking the entire time, right? The entire defense was.
Yeah.
So I think those two things help. I think Knight's going to be okay. I think he's going to be okay. I don't know about Carter, man. There's some things he did. I just don't – to turn that back and learn how to take angles and make plays and stuff. Granted, if your defensive line's playing better, you're not in as much space, right? Because they're getting quicker penetration and stuff. But I don't know, man. I hope that's not the starter when they come into it. I think he's going to be. I think Jordan Battle will be, and I think he will be. And I don't like that, but I think I firmly believe, looking at the Bengals past and their loyalty to players when they draft them, man. The thing is, like, do you want to give a guy a chance to develop? Yeah. But in business or any other aspect of life, if you make a big mistake, you don't elongate it and say, wow, made that mistake, but it'll look bad if I try to fix it now. No, you cut it off and go move on, right? And they've never done that. And I don't think they will this time either. So that's where we're at, Stevie boy, on that. I tell you what, given how they sign guys, we're going to look at some mock drafts here. But before we do that, Steve, I don't know if I heard a lot of people talk about this. This offensive tackle class, granted, 3 guys I like are right tackles, 2 are left tackles. I don't want him to do it because you don't want to draft a guy to sit. I think that's a bad strategy. I think it's a bad strategy. The offensive tackle from Georgia is my number 1 guy, right? Offensive tackle-wise. And everybody, I wish I threw this stuff up earlier, right, on there. I wanted to make sure I got my stuff my ducks in a row. I'm not quite there yet. But I've got Monroe Freeling as the 7th best player in the draft. 7th. And I like some of the other guys, right? So if he's that big of a left tackle, and I think other people he's going probably before the Bengals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that left tackle position is hard to solve. Very hard to solve. Edge rusher is hard to solve. Quarterback is the most hard to solve, right?
Yes.
Those 3 things are kind of in today's game are the cornerstone, right? And also, a guy like Pons, I rate him higher than I would have in the past because that nickel corner matters now, man. That's a big-time position. It's not – they always used to focus, and some still do. Can he play boundary? Can he play boundary? I mean, you want that, but, the slot guy is just about as important. So, when on my rankings, when I give them all out here in the next couple of weeks, they're not weighted based on position, right? And if it was my draft room, I do weight them on position. So Caleb Downs is number 1. I've got Jeremiah Love 2, Reese 3, Bailey 4, and Sonny Styles 5. Ruben Bain right behind him at 6. So that's my top right now. And grades on that shit, I'll give it out over the next few weeks. So if they took Freeling from Georgia and set him for a year, people would be mad, wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't blame him. But I think he's going to be an all-pro type of left tackle, right? But I just don't think the situation you're in, you can do that. Right. If they would have filled the other positions that we just talked, they did everything that we wanted them to do on defense, and they took him at 10th.
Yeah.
Kudos. I don't think he's going to be there anyway, right? All right. let's walk through some mock drafts. Stevie boy, are you ready?
Do it.
Are you ready, really, though?
I am ready. Let's rock and
Sure,
roll.
you seem like you're a little aggravated.
Nope.
How
Well,
mad
I am
are
a little
you?
aggravated,
How
but
mad at Trey are you? Are you more mad at Duke Tobin or Trey Henderson?
I'm just ready to be over it. Is what I'm.
All right,
I
I'm
am,
tired.
you know
of
what I
hearing
mean?
about his
Look, I didn't want him. I would much rather see Crosby with Baltimore than Trey with Baltimore, just because it's Trey. You know what I mean? I think Max is a better run defender. He's got juice too. You know what I mean?
Plus the draft picks, though, right?
You know what I mean. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm just let's move by it. Let's move on and let that loser go and play for them Ratbirds pathetic excuse of a football team.
That's right. I'm tired of hearing about him every all season too, just not this year, right? The whining and the crying. So, all right, here we go. One thing, would you do this trade? I think you said you would. If the Raiders called up and said, hey, we still want to move Max. We want a 2027 first-round pick of Miles Murphy. Would you do it? Right now.
Yes.
I would too. Bye, Miles. Appreciate
because
it.
I'm thinking they're going to be a pretty good football team this year because I love my orange and black.
Win now, baby.
That means they're going to be picking from 25 to 32, right? So, I mean, it's basically a really high second-round pick. So.
Yep. And the Raiders used to say, just win, baby. They still say it. They just don't mean it.
Right.
Ours is win now, baby.
Yeah.
Duke, win now, baby. All right, Fernando Mendoza, the consensus number 1 overall pick. Josh Edwards did his draft for CBSSports.com. Arvell Roots, number 2. David Bailey, number 3. I think it's probably going to go that way. Sonny Styles, surprise at Tennessee, number 4. Jeremiah Love to the New York Giants. Monroe Freeling. So everybody's jumping on him now, right? I wish I'd got out there a little quicker. But early bird gets a worm. I wasn't the early bird. I was, but I wasn't. Freeling to the Browns. Ruben Bain to the Commanders. Carnell Tate, the Buckeyes, flying off the board to the Island Saints. Francis Manoa, the big right tackle, going to Kansas City. Caleb Downs to your Cincinnati Bengals. We are more than happy with that one. Correct, Stevie boy.
Yep. The only one that I might see there being different is Downs could go Kansas City with what they lost at safety here in free agency.
They lost a lot, but they lost a lot of corners, and corners are premium positions, right?
Yep.
And their O-line's not good. So I think Kansas City's going to corner O-line. I'd almost bet the farm on it unless a trade happens. All right, who's this guy? Who's this Jen here, Steve boy? Who are we talking about here? Garrett, what does that say? Podell. Don't know you, Garrett, but you made the show, Garrett. Congrats.
You made it.
Fernando Mendoza, Arvell Reese, Francis Manoa at Arizona. I wouldn't go right tackle there. I'm going edge. Jeremiah Love to Tennessee. Carnell Tate to the Giants. Spencer Fano, who you know I love. Even if he swings inside, that dude's an athlete. David Bailey all the way to 7th with Washington. Ruben Bain to the New Island. St. Sonny Styles to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
I would hate that Sonny. I don't see
Caleb
that.
Downs.
I don't see that. Caleb Downs to the Cincinnati Bengals. We like it. We love it. We want more of it, Stevie boy. I just can't see Kansas City. They lost linebacker too, right? That's another guy they could have got. Chanel, right? We talked about it. Kansas City. Waiting on. Field Yates looks like he's 12. He doesn't look like he's 12 now. He looks like he's 15. He's grown up over the last
a little bit.
Mendoza, the Raiders. David Bailey to the Jets. Arvell Reese to Arizona. I like those. Carnell Tate to Tennessee. High for receiver, but man, they're gonna do stuff for Ward, right?
Mm-hmm.
That should be their number 1 goal. A lot of teams lose sight of that. Caleb Downs.
That's why I picked Love and Armagh.
Yeah. Caleb Downs to the New York Football Giants. Monroe Freeling to the Browns again. Or the Commander Skins. Or who's got Freeling to the Browns? I said it right the first time. Jeremiah Love to the Commander Skins. This site sucks. ESPN, you suck. Hate him being on your side. Hate giving you clicks. Makai Lemon to the Saints. I can see that happening. Manoa to Chiefs. I can see that. They cut Taylor, right? Ruben Bain Jr. I'd be okay with that.
Yep.
They got if they do draft edge there, which I think there's a good chance of it. You got 4 guys now. People think that's a bad thing. That is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing at all.
Yep. Rotate them, get them fresh, keep them fresh.
Hey, look, if people get hurt.
People get hurt. Even if they don't get hurt, they've stunk at that position. They got to improve it.
Yep.
And honestly, he can move inside a lot, right? You get on pass rush down, like 3rd and long, put him inside with Shamar and Mafe. Put him and Murphy inside. Put those 2 on the edge on pass rush.
Sure.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Go get it. Bandit package, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
I like it, Stevie boy. Over the next few weeks, we are going to hit hard and heavy on the 2026 NFL draft, my friend, including my rankings, mocks. They'll be up. We got a mock draft coming up. My Bengals draft board. So I'm going to do a draft board. I've got it up, but I'm going to move it around, make it all Bengals draft board. Over the next few weeks, I will release that on Substack. I'll link it on here and other places. Remember, we need more listens, my friends, on Spotify in particular. If you're like the audio version, go to Spotify. I'm debating whether to put the video version up there. It's a little tricky, a little more extra work. We'll see. Apple, iHeart, all of it. Like, share, subscribe on YouTube. We've got tons of videos out there. Follow us. We need comments. We need likes. We do back and forth on Twitter. Share. Support us. We appreciate it. You got anything you want to say before we get on up out of here, Stevie boy?
Nope. Have a good weekend, brother. Also, traffic. Stay the right. Peace out.
Voices rise.